Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our Live Well podcast. In today's session, we will be delving into the topic of aging, an inevitable experience that brings with it both challenges and opportunities. To have this discussion and share some insights, maybe even some personal stories, I have with me my colleague Justin Hyland.
Hey everyone, Justin here speaking.
And I also have with me Kezia Phillip. Hi, Kezia.
Hi everyone.
So, Kezia, you can get started. Can you tell everyone a bit about yourself, please?
I am a registered dietitian in private practice, Keys to Wellness. I'm also a health promotion specialist with just about 17 years experience. I don't like to say that because I sound kind of old, but you know.
I mean, it's good for this episode.
I guess so.
And Justin, can you tell us a little bit about yourself as well?
Okay.
And why you fit in so well for today's episode?
Alright, I'm Justin Hyland. I work Nestle. I love fitness. I'm a fitness enthusiast. I did my, a little online course with fitness as well. Been into training, swimming, did karate when I was younger. This will be an interesting episode.
Okay, so welcome to you both. So to get things started, I think from all of us here, when you're a teenager, you have like this expectation of what life is going to look like for you. Some of us, we think by age 25, we may be married, own a home, have a vehicle, be like, excelling in our career. And then you actually start adulthood and you realize, things need to shift. That definitely may not, it may be realistic for some persons, but for most of us, life doesn't really look that way anymore. So you set, different milestones and goals for you to achieve. Some of us may have even put that to an age of 30. But when those things don't happen the way you planned them, that's where you start to feel a bit overwhelmed and have that anxiety. Have either one of you experienced this at all?
Well, actually, for me, that happened at age 29. I remember my 29th birthday, and I think I had what was called a pre-midlife crisis, or like almost a third life crisis. And I was just kind of thinking about, I don't have a house. I was thinking about my career, what I'm going to be doing, my life, and I was just, I cried that birthday. I was on the beach and I just cried, and then I decided, okay, I need to come up with a plan. Like, you need to do something. So the plan was actually to go into dietetics. That's actually became the genesis of that. And decide, okay, I need to start to look for a house. I need to start to save for a house, find out what I qualify for and that kind of thing. So, there's something called, we say it's the midlife crisis, but it's actually called, you have ages of transition. And around 30, particularly for women, that's the age where you start to reevaluate your life, as you said, your career and what you're doing with your life and that kind of thing. And that age 30, preempts the whole aging process. That's really where it starts, where you start to think about getting older.
And Justin, what about you? No anxiety at all, or?
I would take it back to 28 when I found out that I was going to be a dad. I was scared out of my mind. I was nervous. I didn't know if I was ready to be a dad, especially financially, because kids are not cheap. So I won't call it a midlife crisis, but it was just me thinking, okay, I'm not responsible for myself, but not responsible for my son. So I think that up to now.
Okay.
But I love being a parent, so.
So we think about all those things as we said, approaching that age of 30 years old. And also, we, besides setting those like somewhat unrealistic goals for ourselves, there's the physical aspect of it. Some persons actually fear getting older because you start to see, wrinkles, your skin may not look as, tight anymore. Weight gain starts to happen and it doesn't fall off as easily as before. So I think for some persons, the aging process terrifies them because, you don't know what to expect, and some persons just expect the worst. Would you say that we should fear aging, or should there be like an appreciation for it?
I don't think we should fear aging. We should, appreciate it. You forget to mention the gray hairs.
If you look close enough, you would see mine.
But it's natural. So it's something we shouldn't fear, something we should embrace. And just think about it when you were younger, preteen, teens, things change, your body changed. So why shouldn't we expect or embrace the changes that come with, getting old in your 30s and your 40s? So I think it's a natural thing, not to be fearful about or to be anxious about. And probably most of the fear and anxiety has to do with the unknown. It's a taboo subject. So you're not sure, and there's a lot of misinformation as well. And I think people probably just not understanding the bodily change is probably what fuels the fear and the anxiety.
Agreed. And Justin, would you also say that, we consume a lot of social media in our day-to-day?
Correct.
Would you say that this has an impact on how we view the aging process? I mean, sometimes we see persons and we may set unrealistic expectations for ourselves. Would you say that social media affects us in that way?
Definitely. I think not really with aging, with just how you think you're supposed to look. Because people will come up to me, they will say, okay, Justin, give me a little routine on how to look like this person on social media. And I always ask them, okay, one, your body structure will be different from that person. You don't know what that person's actually doing. You don't know if the person's doing actual medical work, how they eating, if they're doing actually gym routines. So I always tell people, think about what you want to go. What is your real goal? You know what I mean? So I think social media does have a big impact.
So we need to be realistic basically with our expectations as well, and realize that not everything we see on social media is what it actually is, Kezia, you mentioned something just now, that some persons may not understand what changes will be happening as we get older. What are some of those changes that we should expect or know about?
Well, 30s, going into mid-30s, late 40s. For women, when I think about perimenopause, and of course after that would be menopause. For men from 40s, I think about andropause, which...
What?
Perimenopause. Yeah. So perimenopause, basically the transition stage before menopause. So it could happen like late 30s. It could happen probably like, early 40s or so. And basically what will happen is that, you're seeing the changes. So you're going to you may have the hot flashes. You may have, changes with your menstrual cycle. Some persons may be
perimenopause.
This is like perimenopause.
So you can still have a baby with perimenopause?
Yes, you can still have a baby, yeah. Because you're still going to have your menstrual cycle, yes. So you still have.
I don't know about it, but okay. And you said men have what?
Andropause.
Please explain.
So basically, andropause happens for men in their 40s. So from the age 40, your testosterone declines by 1% every year.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, so that can cause things like, low libido, low sex drive, erectile dysfunction.
At 40?
Yeah, so from 40, it starts to decline. So with the decline in testosterone, those symptoms occur.
At 40?
Yes. 40 something young.
Yeah, 40 something a little young.
Justin sounds like he's almost there.
Sounds very concerned.
Yes. Please, solutions. What's the problem? What we can do?
Solutions? I mean, so even for women with the perimenopause and the menopause, we have to experience the symptoms and all the things that goes with it. For andropause, it's real easy for your men. You just have to make sure that you exercise, that you have a healthy diet, you manage your stress. Of course, you want to visit the doctor to see if there are any issues with your testosterone levels and that kind of thing. A lot of men, you don't have to experience decline. A lot of men remain within the regular range for testosterone as they get older once they maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
So no smoking. You have to, control your alcohol intake, control, sugary foods and that kind of thing.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, doable.
Justin.
So you're only concerned about yourself, you're not concerned
No,
definitely.
What I actually want you to do is kind of explain to how men could support women through that, transition.
I love that question.
Same. You often you don't hear the guy asking how he can support.
Because sometimes we just, women might be getting a little extra and we just want to know why and we don't understand. So if we get to understand medical, maybe she is going through something and maybe we could help guide her or share that little experience as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the question. So with perimenopause as well as menopause, you do have that fear, that anxiety. Some women experience depression.
Okay.
Of course, mood swings. So, you know, you might get a little attitudinal snippiness, you know, that type of
You
thing.
get that once a month.
And so basically, you just have to be patient.
Okay.
You just have to be patient. It's not that you can't control the change and the fluctuation in the hormones that you experience as for women as they age affects personality, affects your mental, affects your characteristics. So that is something that we cannot help.
So it's good for them to actually know what they're going through and then
Exactly, because for some persons, they actually would say like they don't feel like they're going crazy, and they don't understand. You're experiencing brain fog. You may have some sort of forgetfulness and that kind of thing.
The fatigue as well.
Exactly. You know, then you may not sleeping properly. You may have night sweats, and then some joint pain, frozen shoulder. You're going through all those things. I mean, yes, within probably about a 10-year lifespan, but remember, it's not what you're accustomed to.
Yeah.
And it could play on your mental, you know. So
we're not superheroes.
Yeah, and also something to note as well, some women experience the hot flashes during their day. So sometimes during work or whatever they're doing, they just experience these hot flashes, and it can be embarrassing depending on where they are. So it's definitely something that a lot of persons need to be aware of, so that you know how to treat with the situation, and you don't make persons feel ashamed when they are going through that process or that transition period.
Or make fun of it, make people feel uncomfortable.
I think once we're educated, we kind of would understand and share our experience, but I've never heard about it before, so I'm happy.
So Justin, we're all clear as to what menopause and perimenopause and andropause.
It's a lot of pause, but yes.
Essentially, now that we know what they are, Kezia, how do we manage that from a nutrition and lifestyle perspective?
So before we go into the nutritional perspective, you know, we have to talk about the whole mental health. You know, we talk about the fear, the anxiety. So I think counseling, therapy to help manage the natural change. It is a natural change, but you know, it is a life-changing event transition you're going through. You know, journaling is important. You know, positive coping mechanisms, like, you know, reading, going to the beach, whatever you like to do, whatever brings you joy. Like, you have to find some sort of way to manage your mental health. And that goes for both men and women, because for andropause, you have to manage your stress to alleviate the common symptoms that you may experience. So for both men and women, stress management, it would be key. And then when we think about the lifestyle, of course, as I mentioned before, alcohol intake. So for some women, it actually increases the symptoms. So you may experience more night sweats or more hot flashes, that kind of thing, with alcohol intake, or even with certain foods. Certain things could be triggers. So you want to manage those things, as well as smoking. So smoking will actually increase the rate at which you will have that reduction in your testosterone level. So
would this include vaping as well, or just?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Because there'll be nicotine, so you're gonna get that both from the vape and from cigarettes. Yes. So smoking on the whole.
No, this one
Okay,
so
smoking on the whole affects fertility.
Okay.
Right, and of course it will affect your sexual health for both male and for female. Yeah, and then of course we have to talk about the sleep hygiene. So you know, it's important to get adequate rest, to sleep. And rest and sleep is different things. You know, we keep moving, but we are human beings are not doing. So we're supposed to rest and pause, besides making sure we get at least that 9 hours of sleep. And I read a research recently that women actually need more sleep than men. You know, so sometimes we complain a bit tired, we just need more sleep than they do, right? So we have to manage those lifestyle, of course, staying hydrated, drinking water, that kind of thing. So those things are important. And then, well, of course, for the nutrition part of it, you want to make sure that you have a healthy, balanced diet. To make sure you have high fiber foods. You have to prioritize protein, because when you go through perimenopause, menopause, even with the andropause, you can experience muscle loss. Yeah, and of course a reduction in bone density. So you want to make sure you have adequate protein every day. And of course healthy fats. You know, so again, when women go through menopause, they tend to have an increased risk for cardiac events, for heart issues. And with men, both men and women, you know, they tend to put on weight. The weight is give a little more trouble to come off.
And it's where the weight is being put on.
Correct. So midsection, so you know that central obesity increases the risk for non-communicable diseases like diabetes, you know, hypertension, heart disease, that kind of thing. So you know, we have to bear all those things in mind. So you want to make sure that you have heart-healthy foods, anti-inflammatory, that kind of thing, where the diet is concerned. And of course, you want to avoid, those ultra-processed foods, luncheon meats, and those, extra salty foods, as well as foods that high in, sugar, added sugar, that is.
So you want to essentially make sure that you have a balance, because there's no way that you would remove certain things completely from your overall eating. But it's important to make sure that, you strike a good balance between the healthy and the more indulgent foods. You mentioned something very important there. As we age, naturally as well, we lose a lot of muscle mass. So we actively need to be aware of that and make sure that we try to maintain it as much as possible. Justin, how do we do that in a safe way?
Okay, safe way. So basically, at a certain age, so the internet gives you two sets of information, right? So one, they will say once you reach like 40, you should do low impact exercises. But I believe that it's also a balance. Okay, so like the simplest or the best way to stay healthy and with no impact on your muscle or joints would be swimming. A lot of people in the Caribbean cannot swim. I don't understand it. I've been swimming years ago, but yes, swimming is really good. As well as walking, and not walking and you're taking one step today, one step tomorrow. I mean like walking. You can have a conversation and walk. Two women, or you can have a conversation talking about whatever, but I need you to walk, move. And I want you to always feel comfortable, because to me, the last thing you want to do is you getting up from your desk and like, oh gosh, my back, your knees. You don't want that. To me, I believe in exercise. So even if you're doing simple squats at home, or lunges, or jumping jacks, it's simple. YouTube has everything as well, and I believe that you need to start off from now, and everything's a balance, because when it comes to exercising and working out, diet is 70 to 80%, but working out or exercise is 20 or 30%. So you must have a balance. And who doesn't want to feel comfortable? I bet you there's no woman who ever said a young man coming up to her saying, "Oh, you look good. What's your age?" And you tell him your natural age, and you're like, "What you taking?" So you want to always feel comfortable. You want to feel sexy. You want to feel confident and empowered as well, for both men and women.
And that's important, that feeling empowered.
Yeah.
That brought up a really important point there, as we get older, or even in general, some persons have major anxiety when it comes to fitness and exercising in spaces where there are, quite a number of persons. They feel like ashamed to go and do certain exercises. The gym might have persons, for example, and they feel like they're watching them a certain way. What would you say to persons who feel that anxiety to go into those spaces and exercise?
I know a few people who feel like that they just do not like the gym because they don't want to be around people. And I always say, okay, start off at home. Start off at doing something simple at home, as in using a mat. YouTube has everything. So you could use a mat, or YouTube has stretches you could do squats, lunges. Like I'm pro and woman push-ups. Woman, you could do push-ups.
I cannot do push-ups.
Build your lower and upper body. Women always concentrate on like legs, they want a big butt, this and that, but you need upper body strength as well. Especially when you want to have kids and stuff. Oh, a little baby, 2 babies, 3 babies, you never know, you want upper body strength as well.
I mean, if you're thinking about aging, to hold grocery bags.
Exactly.
I mean, you want to be able to walk up the staircase, you want to be able to go in and out of a car. So I think that stretching, so mobility exercise will be important, as well as, you talk about the body weight or even weight bearing exercises. All as important for preserving your muscle mass and for your bone health as well.
And you can start off really simple, like you get up from your bed, do 5 squats from your bed and stand up. I want them to shoot squats right now because I can't based on circumstance, but like it really is simple. It's not rocket science. Take your time. I know the gym could be a little uncomfortable for some people, but some people love the gym. That's where they interact with others as well. And get a group, join there's so many female gyms now as well, that you have like a female group if you're comfortable within women alone, and empower yourself.
Find a friend, go in a group, or even try to do things at home on your own as well. Kezia, you mentioned a really important point there as well. We need to always ensure that we have that balance with, doing all the cardio-based exercises and then focusing on ones that would help our muscle mass and our bone health, and those are like the weight-bearing, strength training, and the resistance exercises. So for me personally, I've always been more cardio-based. I love to run. But now I'm trying to be intentional and, strike that balance and do some more weight training and those sorts of things. And for those persons who would have that one set of exercises that you like to do, it's important to mix it up and try to do a variety. Thank you both for coming here today to share your experiences and your insights. Just to wrap up, Justin, is there anything you would like for our listeners to leave with here today?
I would say start from somewhere. I started from a heartbreak years ago in UTT, and that pushed me to work out, feel comfortable. When you get to a horn and yeah. So I felt like more, like I want to be a man. So I started to go gym in La Jolla, and that pushed me to. And I was always into exercise as well. I did football, swimming, karate as well, but start from somewhere. And then some people lose weight with heartbreak as well, so you can start from anywhere, I believe. Feel comfortable. I would say try to take everything with a pinch of salt as well. People have their own opinions. Do your research, but feel comfortable doing it, and reach out to someone who believes in fitness, who believes in eating well as well, and join a group or hold each other accountable. But you can start from anywhere. Again, women have this thing with going to the gym and feeling like you're gonna get a manly. No, it's really, really, really tough for women to put on like bodybuilding weight. Most of those bodybuilders use some enhancements, but like feel comfortable. You could do your bench press, you could do your back pull downs. Again, tips like the more you work your upper body, the smaller your waist looks actually. And legs and stuff, you want to do your legs, your glutes, everybody into big butts now. So there's plenty of glute exercises as well. Men, don't concentrate only on the chest. Please build your legs. Don't want to be Johnny Bravo. But just feel comfortable as well. If it's running, cycling is a big thing now, I realize.
Spin classes.
But swimming is actually the best form of exercise. Overall exercise helps with breathing, building your lung capacity with air. It's low impact as well. You don't feel like, with weights, you don't feel it on your joints and your muscles. So join a swim class as well.
Thank you, Justin. Kezia, anything you would like everyone to leave with today?
I would say start now. Yeah, so don't wait until you're in your 40s and you start feeling the little stiffness, the little joint pain, and then you realize and you're gaining weight. Start now. So yeah, join a fitness program, as Justin said, a group, or you could just have a friend who you could go and walk with, that kind of thing. As well as you want to just start to eat healthy, watch what you're having to eat, stick to the whole foods that we mentioned before, and manage your sleep, manage your stress. So I would just say just start now and don't wait, because what happens now actually is would indicate what will happen in the next 10 years.
Agreed, yes. Try to make those changes now also so that you don't feel it's such a big transition for you when you now realize those things. Also, aging is a part of life and we have to embrace it and all that comes with it. And if you find that you personally, you're struggling with this, reach out to a healthcare professional or a close friend or somebody you can confide in who will give you good advice and help you navigate through it. So thank you both once again, and thank you to our listeners for tuning into today's episode, and see you again soon.
Yes. Thanks so much.